Hello everyone and welcome to another Regal Mystery Movie Review. This video is going to be about the movie that premiered on January 8th, 2024. And the movie was Origin. Written and directed by Academy Award nominee Ava DuVernay, Origin chronicles the tragedy and triumph of Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Isabel Wilkerson as she investigates a global phenomenon of epic proportions. Portrayed by Academy Award nominee Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, Isabel experiences unfathomable personal loss and love as she crosses continents and cultures to craft one of the defining American books of our time. Origin explores the mystery of history, the wonders of romance, and a fight for the future of us all.
Rated PG-13.
Now, I personally never heard of this movie before this viewing, but I'm really glad this is the movie that they chose. The movie follows author Isabel Wilkerson as she tries to figure out what her next big book is going to be about. She's seeking to understand how things like slavery, the Holocaust, and the caste system are all connected to each other. There's a scene in the movie where Isabel is talking to her cousin Marion about current events in America. Marion, who's played by the always amazing Niecy Nash, says that it's because of racism that these things keep happening in America. Now, obviously, racism plays a big part in everything in America, but it's not the only thing. Isabel explains how it can't be just racism, that there has to be something more, because sometimes it's not actually about race. She explains how racism is being used as a blanket term that's thrown in every situation that you see on the news. This is when we, the viewers, are introduced to the idea of a caste system, spelled C-A-S-T-E. A caste system is a social hierarchy passed down through families that can dictate professions a person can work, as well as aspects of their social lives, including whom they can marry. Endogamy is the practice of controlling marriage within a certain group of people. This can mean prohibiting interracial marriage or interfaith marriage. And remember, interracial marriage was illegal in the United States until 1967. Yeah, 1967.
Wow!
We then follow Isabel as she travels the world, researching and speaking to people to try to find these connections. This is where I think some people are going to have an issue with the movie. Woke! Some reviews are calling this movie heavy-handed and woke. Woke! While the movie does focus on the inferences that Isabel makes during her research, there is more than enough factual evidence to back up these claims. I feel like some people watched this movie and some of the scenes made them feel uncomfortable, and that's why they tend to reject it. Sometimes history is not so kind. I could hear some of these comments while watching the movie in the theater. For example, there's a scene with German leadership, and they're discussing how they can dehumanize the Jewish population legally and in order to gain the support of the public. They turned to the United States of America and looked at our Jim Crow laws on how to legally discriminate against minorities. They studied our laws to see how they could complete the Holocaust. It's a harsh reality for some people to realize that the United States law helped contribute to the Holocaust. But it shouldn't be that surprising considering that America rejected Jewish refugees. The way this movie is told is a really creative process, and I think it's definitely its strongest point. The film does do some time jumping, but it is done well. These time jumps usually happen when Isabel is giving a speech or when she's talking about a specific historical figure. Then the movie takes us back while Isabel continues to narrate and shows us these characters back in the time of when she's talking about them. For example, we hear Isabel talking about German August Landmesser and his wife Irma Eckler and their experiences during the Holocaust. And then on the screen, you get to see how they met, how they lived, and how they ultimately met their demise. I think the visualizations of these historical figures really helps the audience to connect to the story and understand that these are real people and these are real things that happened. And there's something about this type of storytelling that's really effective. And we get to see more of these flashbacks as Isabel continues her work researching different cultures around the world. Now, not everything is a flashback. We do get to see modern moments with Isabel and her husband, and her mother, and her cousin, and just throughout her literary career. There are some very tender moments, and there are some very heart-wrenching moments as well. This movie really makes you run the emotional gambit. Now, one of my favorite things about this movie is the cinematography, barring a couple of the up-the-nose shots that we do get here and there. There are so many creative and impactful shots, striking visuals of the book burning in Germany, the inside of the North Atlantic slave ships, the caste system in action in India, and the dramatization of the murder of Trayvon Martin. Now, there's one scene in particular that really stuck with me after the movie. It's a scene of a young black boy floating on a raft in a public pool during segregation. Now, he's not allowed to touch the water because then the pool would have to be drained and sanitized because he's black. So he was forced to lay on the pool with his arms crossed and his legs crossed and just sit there and not touch the water as the raft was pulled along the water. And just the visual of this really paralleled the visuals of the slaves on the slave ships crossing the Atlantic. And it was just such a really powerful dichotomy there. Continuing along in this type of creative filmmaking, Isabel's personal struggles and her personal traumas were displayed on the screen in a certain way that really makes you think. The way it's done is that she's shown laying in a pile of leaves while leaves fall down around her. And this kind of represents her depression, that she's alone, and the leaves are all brown leaves, so they're all dead leaves. And she's just there, motionless, just staring off into the distance. Now, the first time this happened, I was a little jarred because I didn't realize they were going to be showing like these type of visuals, because this is more of a whimsical, creative visual as opposed to just straight filmmaking. But I'm 100% okay with it. And now each time that she's in these leaves, it's usually because she's experienced a loss in her life. So she's there inside of her mind on these leaves, and the person who she lost or had trauma from comes in and tries to comfort her. Now, I'm not trying to give any spoilers away, but it does come full circle towards the end of the movie, and she's the one giving comfort to somebody else. It's just this type of visual manifestation of her depression. And it really helps us, the audience, connect with her. Because, we've obviously felt distraught over the loss of a loved one, and you just kind of see her being distraught about it inside of her mind. Now, I did hear some murmurs from the audience who really didn't understand what was going on when they first showed it. But once it continued through, I think people finally kind of got the idea. Personally, I think it's a very interesting way of showing Isabel's emotional journey through depression and strife. Overall, this is an emotional and thought-provoking film. If you watch this film and don't feel anything afterwards, there might be something wrong with you. Huh? Me? Woke? I feel like this is the type of movie that would be shown in colleges and maybe even some high schools. It is rated PG-13. Well, maybe not those colleges that keep banning books, like the dictionary. But if you want to check out the book, it is called Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent by Isabel Wilkerson. So what's my rating for Origin? I gotta say, I'm gonna give it a big, hefty 9 out of 10. It's just an amazingly powerful film that really shows you how interconnected we are as a people on this planet, and how all our lives, despite being so different, are actually very similar. So, did you see the Regal mystery movie, Origin? If so, let me know what you thought about it in the comments right down there. And as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing and honest movie reviews from the mouth of this babe. See you again soon, and bye. Woke. Shh.